Hello and welcome back to my channel, everyone. My name is Steffi and today I'm gonna do the 20 questions book tag. I don't know who is the original creator of this book tag, but if I find out, I'll link it down below. So the first question is, how many books in a series is too much? For me, I guess that would be like 15. I feel like 10 is fine, but 15 is just too much. So yeah, I think like around 10. It's fine. But more than that, I probably won't pick up if I haven't been reading the series already. The second question is, how do you feel about cliffhangers? I honestly don't mind, but I think it has to do with the fact that lately I've been reading books that, sometimes they end up in a cliffhanger, but the next book is already out, so I can just pick it up like right away. So I don't mind them, and I feel like they can make things a little bit more interesting. So I kind of like them, though I understand why people hate them. I kind of hate them too, but at the same time, it keeps things interesting. The next question is hardcovers or paperbacks. I honestly, at the beginning of my reading journey, I would have said hardbacks, because I feel like they're maybe more durable, but I don't know, I have found that I do like paperbacks too, so I don't know, I guess at this point I kind of like them both. Usually hardbacks come in special editions and stuff like that, so I guess it could be a little bit more hardbacks, but honestly, I have a little bit of everything and I really don't mind. The next question is, what's your favorite book? And this one's hard. Just one. Why? I guess I could go with this one, or this one, or this one. Honestly, this is very hard for me, and I'm just gonna pick like my latest favorite book, and that will be The Risk by El Kennedy. I chose to read this for Bookmarks, and I loved it. I think I loved it even more than The Deal. I'm thinking about doing a video review for this book, so if you're interested in that, just stay tuned. The next question is, what's my least favorite book? And I had to think a little bit about this, but I went into my Goodreads and I looked for my least favorite books, and turns out that the one that I just kind of hated with my life was The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I was super hyped about this book. I actually thought about pre-ordering this book. At the end I didn't, and it was fine. I got the audiobook, and I got into really bad, not like a bad position with my books. I was in a really awful mood reading this, and I hated this. There are some moments where Luke, one of the characters, comes back and he tells her that, are you ready to leave? And she's like, oh no, even though her life sucks, like bad. And I was like, yeah, please just take her, because I just cannot keep doing this. Let's just say that I DNF'd this book, but I just hated it. The next question is, love triangles, yes or no? For me, it's like a heartfelt no. I hate love triangles. I don't know why people keep doing that. First, I have never understood them, because sometimes I feel like it's just to make like teams, your team Edward or team Jacob or whatever. But I've never been like rooting for both. So that was just ridiculous for me, and I was like, can we remove this other guy, because it's just wasting my time. I don't know, I feel like it's already hard enough to get to know someone, and at the same time I have to deal with the other guy, and I hate those. No, I don't like them. The next question is, what's the most recent book you couldn't finish? And this is not because the book was bad or anything, it was just, I don't know, I feel like it was too much for the moment. I don't know. This book is The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. It was one of the books that I put in my Bookmarks, but I don't know. I read I think the first 2 chapters or the first chapter. I don't remember. And it was like, oh my God, this is gonna be heavy. So I just put it aside for the moment. I do think about maybe picking up the audiobook, and that might help. And hopefully I will be reading this book. The next question is, what is a book you're currently reading? And I'm currently reading 2 books. One is Rum of Lore and Lies and The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. I love Once Upon a Broken Heart, though I was a bit confused at the end. I kind of didn't understand what happened. The other one, actually, I started reading that one and I thought it was just like full fantasy. So when at the beginning of the book, you find her in like super contemporary setting, I was like, what? I was sure this was fantasy. And I don't know why I thought that. Maybe I did saw something on NetGalley, I think. But I don't know, that kind of threw me off at the beginning, and now I'm just like, okay, picking things as they go. Yeah, those are the 2 things I'm reading right now. The next question is, what is the latest book you recommend? That would probably be Suki Alone. I read this is a short comic about Suki from Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I just loved it. It was perfect. I gave it 5 stars. It just wrapped up very nicely, and it's like an expansion of the series. So I loved it, and that was perfect. The next question is, what's the oldest book you've read? Again, I have to go to my Goodreads to find that out. And apparently it's Wuthering Heights, which I hated with my life. Actually, this was gonna be the answer for least favorite book, but I wanted to include other things here. So yeah, this is the oldest book. The next question is, what's the newest book you've read? And that is Love on the Brain by Ellie Hazelwood. I didn't love this book as much as I loved Love Hypothesis. Again, I'm thinking about doing a video about this book. There are a lot of things I did like. I love Alice's writing, that's for sure. I find her books very funny, and that's a plus for me. But there are a couple of things that I just did not like. So if you want to know what that is, stay tuned for that video. The next question is favorite author. I probably would have put Sarah J. Maas here. I'm not taking this place from her at the moment, but these books right here, mostly this one, I don't know what to do with that one. Again, I don't want to take this place as right now because I do love her other works. But I do think that I have to include Elle Kennedy. I've been enjoying her books this year so much, and it's actually very rare for me because I usually don't read that much from an author in 1 year. And so far, I think I have read like 7 of her books. So yeah. The next question is buying or borrowing books. For me, it has to be buying, not because I don't like borrowing books, but none of my friends read what I read. And like libraries here where I live, they have like history books and nonfiction books. I think they do have like children books and stuff like that, but nothing that I'm interested in. So I always have to buy my books. The next question is a book you hate that everyone seems to love. That absolutely has to be Twisted Love. I tried to read this book a while ago and I DNF'd it because it was awful. I do have a video about this book and why I didn't like it. So I don't understand why everyone loves it, but that's fine. The next question is bookmark or dog ears? Bookmark. 100%. I don't mind like writing in my books or underline stuff, but I don't think that I can do dog ears like at all. That's just too far for me. The next question is a book that you can always reread. And well, to be fair, I haven't reread this book in a while, but one that comes to mind is Night of Fire by Catherine Coulter. I used to reread this book all the time. It's actually very well loved, but it's still good. I might need to do a reread at this point. I just love it. This is historical fiction. Even when I found this, the premise was so interesting to me, and I think I read this when I was 14, maybe 15. And this is about Ariel and Burke. And the thing is that he's, I think, 21, I think. And she's 15 at the beginning of the book. So yeah, there's an age gap, but hold your breath. At the beginning of the book, it doesn't really happen anything. They just like each other, but it doesn't happen anything. And then Burke has to go to war. He comes back, I think it's like 3 years later. And he's like, okay, she's 18 now. We can live our life and get married and whatever they wanted to do. She liked him very much. But in those 3 years, things happen. And when he comes back, she doesn't want to know anything about him. And he doesn't know why. So if that doesn't intrigue you, I don't know. But that was what I read the first time I picked up this book. And I was like, what? And I love this book. Like I said, I've reread this book so much, but I haven't lately. So I might need to do a reread at this point. The next question is, can you read while listening to music? And actually, I've been getting this habit of actually listening to music while I read. Though I always listen like instrumental music. And I have this video here on YouTube that I almost always put it on the background. It's this one, if you are interested in it's like 4 hours or 5, I don't remember, of Disney instrumental music, and it makes everything for me. Also, there's a Spotify list also with Disney instrumental music, and I also tend to listen to classical music while I read. But I don't know, that just put the whole thing together for me. The next question is one POV or multiple? For me, I love multiple POVs. 2, it's perfect. More than that, I don't mind as long as you're giving me something. Sometimes with one POV, I'm like, but what else is happening? So it's not like a deal breaker for me, but I tend to enjoy more POVs. The next question is, do you read in one sitting or in multiple days? For me, it's almost always in multiple days. I guess I don't read that fast, or I don't know, but I always do in multiple days. And the last question is, who do you tag? I'm not gonna tag anyone this time. If you want to do this tag, just feel tagged. And those were all my answers. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you would have chose for some of these questions, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!